So welcome to part 2 of growing blue grey oyster mushrooms. If you remember from part 1, I bought the grain spawn from Mushroom Box, who I've also bought a number of grow kits from, and if you check out my other videos you can see the different types of mushrooms that I'm growing. But for this one I decided to have a bit of an experiment. I'm using my own resources. I picked some dry grass from the local environment, which I'm using as the substrate. The bag is a compost bag that I just had kicking about in the shed, and this box is one that was just kicking about in the house. So it's been just over a week since I put the blue grey oyster mushroom away, so I have no idea what's going on in here. I don't know if it's good or it's bad. Did I treat the substrate enough? Did I get it sterile enough that it's only the blue grey oyster mushroom spawn growing in here? So there is definitely something growing in there, but is it what I want to be growing in here? Well, it smells very mushroomy. I wasn't massively hopeful when I opened the box. Having a glimpse in now, it looks like the mycelium is spreading well through the substrate. So far, I would consider this to be a success. I'll let you have a look. This bit here is doing really well. I would say for the most part that this is looking really promising. So I'm really hopeful that we're actually going to get blue grey oyster mushrooms from this. So it's time to get the blue grey oyster mushrooms out and to try and encourage them to grow. I can already see some really nice white fluffy mycelium through some of the holes. This looks really good. It's chock-a-block full of mycelium. That's what we want, that's what we're looking for. So now I'm going to move these to a different environment to where they've been growing. Rather than being in a dark, warm cupboard, I'm now going to put them somewhere that's got a little bit of light. But it doesn't need to be a huge amount of light. They're not like normal plants, they don't photosynthesize, so they're not looking for sunlight to be able to grow. I'll start watering them every day, just giving them a light spray with the spray bottle. In the next 10 to 30 days, we should get our first flush of oyster mushrooms. Hopefully, soon, I'll be able to show you them growing. It's been a week since I took the blue grey oyster mushroom out of their hibernation state, so I'm checking in with an update to show you how quickly these guys can grow. You get really small little pins start to appear. If you look down the bottom there, that's what they start to look like when they first appear. And they start to grow a little bit bigger and then get a little bit bigger still, and you get like this. Got them over here. Yeah, and in here as well. So you're going to get loads of mushrooms from this flush. However, it's perfectly normal for some of them to abort. I first noticed the growth on these about 36 hours ago. I expect over the next couple of days to see these guys grow to be quite big. I think the key is not to be tempted to wait until they get really big, because by that time they're past their best. So I've been watering these guys twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, using this pressure sprayer. I think they can dry out quite quickly. Up here in Scotland, it's unsurprisingly quite damp at the moment, which means that there's quite a lot of moisture in the air, which I think the mushrooms quite like, but I'm still watering them regularly. So we'll do another update tomorrow, and I'll show you how much bigger they are in just 24 hours. So, super quick update of what they look like now. That is a 24-hour difference in growth. Let's come back tomorrow and see how big they are then. It's another 24 hours later, and as you can see, they're doing really well. The mushrooms are growing to be really tall, with quite thick stems, and with really small caps. I'm not 100% sure why that is. What I'm also noticing is that they have almost like a little cup in the top. I may leave them for one more day, Alright, so let's come back in 24 hours time and see if they have grown any further. As you can see, they're even bigger than they were yesterday. The ones around on this side down here, I thought that they might abort, and they have done. I think these are ready to pick, so I'm going to do that now. I don't want to leave them any longer because I think they're starting to get to the stage where they might soon release their spores, and the advice is if they get to that stage, they're past their best. So I'm going to pick these and then I'm going to tear them apart and I'll put them in a Tupperware box and I'm going to have them for my lunch tomorrow. So let's get to picking. So there you have it. That's our first set of mushrooms. You can see there's a little bit of the substrate has come with the mushrooms. That's perfectly normal, and we'll just cut that off. Here's our second little bunch of mushrooms. And last but not least, I'm going to take off this big bunch here, which have grown really big. I'm very pleased with them. Alright, so I'm going to grab the scales and we'll weigh them and see how much we've got. So we've got 155 grams of mushrooms here, which I think is pretty good. I find that they tear very easily. It's very pleasant, it's very enjoyable to do. So I'm just going to tear them into strips. So any this sort of size, I'll just keep them like this and eat them. I'm done. So I'm going to have these for my lunch tomorrow and I will show you what I decide to do with them. I'm going to cook them in some walnut oil. I've been growing oregano, so I think I'm going to pick some of this, chop it up, and we'll have that with the mushrooms. So here are our mushrooms that we tore up yesterday, and I'm just going to pop them straight in the pan. smells wonderful. Okay, so I think the mushrooms are ready, so let's get them out. I'm just going to try one, see what it's like. Good. I can see why they describe it as quite a meaty mushroom. It's not a hugely dominating mushroom flavour. I like the texture. It's very meaty, very chewy, but I like that. Good. Yeah, good. Good fun. If you've enjoyed watching the video, you'll probably enjoy growing them too. It's not that complicated. The main challenge is getting the timing right and making sure that you remember to water them. I highly recommend the mushrooms from Mushroom Box. They're really easy to grow, they're really good quality, and they taste amazing. So thanks for watching. I'm going to be making more mushroom videos, so if you're interested, please subscribe, drop me a comment, or hit that like button. And if you fancy growing your own mushrooms, why not check out Mushroom Box? They are in no way a sponsor of this video. They don't even know I've made these videos. But I really like their little business and I want to support them because I've had so much fun growing their mushrooms. So go and check them out and enjoy making, growing and eating your own mushrooms.